I will give you a warning. This lesson is not for you if you want to do generic activities, if you want to do MUNs, volunteering, if you want to start just a regular club at your school, and if you want to stay small, this lesson is not for you. This lesson is only for those who have the courage to start big initiatives. Even if you have no domain expertise in that specific field, you can learn along the way, right? For example, if you want to do an economics club, you likely would think, "Oh, I need to know a lot about economics for me to be able to run an economics club, right? That's very logical. But guess what? Mark Zuckerberg didn't know that he would go on to create a billion-dollar company, a trillion-dollar company. He didn't know that, nor did he know about social media, right? He just started. He just launched. Similarly, you should not wait for a perfect moment. You should just start. You can learn along the way. So again, this is only for those who have courage. I want I want to start from an advice that will get you rejected. Me, right? So if you follow this advice, you will be rejected. And that advice is do everything. Or in one word, be well-rounded. Now, be well-rounded is a terrible advice, but I hear it all the time on social media, at schools, from counselors. That is wrong. Do you know why? The reason is school counselors and people who say you need to be well-rounded, they think that universities, when they say we want a well-rounded class, school counselors think, well, if they want a well-rounded class, it means they want well-rounded students, right? Now that seems pretty logical, but admissions is not a game of logic. It has a specific way it works, and you have to understand it. And I'm going to teach it today. Now, why is being well-rounded not good? Let me explain. But before I explain, I would like to very briefly introduce about myself. Okay, I am Levsha, and I help high school students apply to top universities of the world. Our students have got into Harvard, Columbia, University of Chicago, Amherst College, London School of Economics, NUS, SNU, Nanyang Technological University in Singapore, Carnegie Mellon University, NYU Abu Dhabi, and many, many others. In total, I have about 80,000 followers on social media, across social media, and our students have got into 20 plus top universities of the world with scholarship. Before I even tell you about the well-rounded thing, I would like to give you a very, very important story, context. So I personally come from a region called Fergana in Uzbekistan, and I came to Tashkent in 10th grade. And it's exactly in 10th grade when I started doing admissions. Not teaching, obviously, I knew nothing about admissions, but I started preparing myself. And honestly, I was the most talented, I was the most energetic person out there, and everyone knew about me in admission circles. Now, there is a terrible lesson that I would like to teach you. Even though I was the most energetic guy, even though I had the most knowledge about admissions, I still could not get in. Do you want to know the reason why I couldn't get in? It was because I was doing everything at once. I was doing volunteering. I was going to MUNs. I was going to sports tournaments. I was reading economics. So basically, I was a perfectly well-rounded student. So why couldn't I get in? Well, please stop. Someone is drawing, and I think it's Samandar. Please stop drawing. How do I stop it? Okay, I think I stopped. Yeah. So basically, I was doing everything, and that was a bad thing. I should not have been doing everything at once. Instead, I should have been doing what I call a spike. I should have been following a spike strategy. Now, what is a spike strategy? Spike strategy is when you are very good or exceptional at one specific field. And in the next slides, I'm going to explain you what I mean by this. So the problem is 70+% of students who apply to MIT, who apply to other schools, they meet the admission standards. How do I hide the annotation? Okay, anyway, yeah, so 70% of MIT applicants already meet the MIT admissions academic bar, meaning they have the SAT, they have the GPA, they have the IELTS, they have the academic activities, they have the extracurricular activities, they have the honors, they have everything, and they still don't get in. Why? Because they don't stand out. When everyone looks at you and they don't recognize who you are, after they read 500 other applications, it means they forget you. And when they forget you, that's when the problem comes in. Why? Because the application does not have a you in it. Now, what version of yourself should you present in your application? Let's reconsider that. But before that, let me try to double. What aspect of yourself should you show in admissions? It's what I call the spike. Now, the spike is one thing. Only one thing, not 20 things, but one thing that you care so deeply about that an admissions officer stops reading and thinks, I want this person on our campus. Now I'm going to explain you what a well-rounded class means and what well-rounded student means. So imagine you're at a dinner party, right? You're having a party with all of these people. There's one person who is from Peru, one person who is from, I don't know, South America, another person is from Vietnam, Thailand, Europe, right? Many countries. Would that be interesting? Yes, it would be interesting. So that's geographical diversity. That's well-rounded. That's a well-rounded class. But imagine having 2,000 well-rounded students, meaning a student is interested both in sports, arts, he also is interested in economics, he's interested in mathematics, he's interested in social science. He knows a little bit of everything. When you have 2,000 of these people who are interested in sports, arts, economics, arts, mathematics, basically there is not much to talk about, right? There is nothing new that a person can bring because everyone else has the same background. They would not be able to engage in completely new conversations. Now, that is why universities, instead of taking students who are well-rounded, they take students who are exceptionally good at one thing. It can be chess, it can be something else. But as long as you're really exceptional and have a character and can depict a personality, that's good. It's way better to have one thing you're exceptionally good at and you care about it and you show your passion for it and you can contribute a new perspective on this specific thing to a conversation than having 26. Now, I'll give you a specific case. Do you guys know what Matt Damon is? Who Matt Damon is? Do you guys know about him? No? Okay, I'm going to show you the screen. The actor. Just a second. Now I think should be able to. Now, do you guys see who he is? Has anyone seen him in films? Yes, no? You guys haven't seen Matt Damon, like this guy, this actor? There should be some other pictures. See this guy. This guy. The Martian guy. Yes, no? Okay, yes, Good Will Hunting as well, the film that was taken at MIT, right? So very good actor. Now, why am I talking about him? The reason I'm telling him is he went to Harvard, right? He got into Harvard and he studied there. He finished his degree there. Now, why do you think Matt Damon was accepted? Do you think it's because he had like 100 inches? Because he was interested in arts, mathematics, computer science, engineering? Yes or no? Probably not. Well, he's an actor. He's a very talented actor. He's certainly one of the best actors the world has ever seen. But he's only exceptionally good at one thing. Other things, he probably could ask questions about it, but he's not good enough to give responses, to give answers to it, right? So what I'm trying to get you is universities want the sort of Matt Damons in each field. If you're interested in acting, if you have acted in a film, in a small film, and you also did sports, and you also did some other thing, will people really remember you? Not really. But you have done acting and you've done it to such an unusual degree as Matt Damon, people are going to remember you. And that's what admissions officers nowadays want. They want Matt Damons. Now, today, when you look at him, of course, it sounds like unachievable. But if you look at who he was when he was like 16 or 17, you can like, if you really, really try hard, you can become the sort of Matt Damon in your specific field. Now, I'll give you a different analogy. So again, what I'm doing is I'm trying to get you to understand how it all works. And when you have a shift in mind, you can do it easily. Let me open the presentation once again. Do you guys see the screen? Yes, no? Okay, so you see the screen. Now go look, who is well-rounded and who is spiked. Well-rounded guys is a guy who does chess, football, debate, volunteering, student council, school newspaper, teaching, coding, everything. He's busy. But what does he care about really? What is his passion? You can't be passionate about 10 different things at the same time. No, that does not work. It's easily forgettable, even if you are passionate about it. But instead of doing that, if you do one thing and you're exceptionally good at it, you have a spike. Now, you might have built an app that is used by 1,000 families, and you have published the research about it, and you won a national competition in that specific field. And every part of your essay, every point within your essays connect to that same problem that you care about, that you're really good at. Now, that is something that's hard to forget. You have a passion for it, right? That is spike. But again, going to the well-rounded thing, you need to consider the well-rounded class at university as a sort of symphony. Like in Russian, it's symphonia, right? When you're at a symphony, do you really take musicians who can play both piano and can play, double bass, double bass, or different instrument, dotaro and others, or you take people who are exceptionally good at only what they do? Which one would you take? Like, look at this. Do you think this guy can play piano and then sing and then, do the orchestra and everything? Or do you think he's only exceptionally good at this specific thing that he is doing right now? What do you think, guys? Write in the chat. Again, I'm repeating to those who didn't hear. Do you think this guy knows to play 10 different instruments, or he's exceptionally good at one thing? Yes, he is exceptionally good at one thing. Now, if he knows a little about how to play piano, that's of course helpful, but that's secondary. Okay, that's secondary. I'm going to explain the reason why it's secondary things don't matter much in the next slides. But for now, I hope you guys understand, right? So you need to look at the classes as a symphony where each student is exceptionally good at one thing. And because the whole class, each specific student has completely different interests and they're exceptionally good at it, together the class becomes like a symphony. It makes sense. And how do they pick it? Based on institutional priorities. Now, for example, maybe you're exceptionally good at playing piano and you get accepted because of it. That happens a lot. Why? Because the university has institutional need. Now, what does an institutional need means? For example, look at Harvard. What does Harvard University must have? They must have a football team, right? An American football team. And football team requires at least 25 players. Like let's say, right? That means every single year, Harvard University has to accept at least 10 students so that each year they have a full football team. In total, it would be 40, but, at some point, some students leave, some students leave for exchange, some students get injured. So that's why in total, across 4 years, Harvard has to have at least 40 students who play American football at an elite, Division I level. That is for, football. There are some other sports. There is also a symphony. Harvard has art club. Harvard has computer science department, and computer science department has a target priority, meaning they have to have at least 50 students for them to be able to conduct high-level research and conducting lectures. So they must accept at least 50 computer science students. Now, that's what I want to convey. You need to first become exceptionally good at one thing and then see which university has an institutional need for that specific sort of student. Imagine you're really good at computer science and you're also interested in engineering and you're interested in also, working in teams and you love doing research. Now, so you're interested in one specific thing, you have a field niche. You need to look at which university has an institutional need to do it. Perhaps Cornell University has that institutional need. That means in early decision one, the best for you, the best college for you to apply is Cornell University, right? If you're interested in something else and another university has an institutional need for it, you need to apply to that university with institutional need. So look at what you're exceptionally good at, look at what specific institutional need a university has, and connect them. Okay, now that was a basic introduction. That's just the beginning of today's lesson, guys. I'm going to teach you many more things today. Okay, but before we move on to more advanced and sophisticated parts, do you guys understand the basic mindset behind this approach, behind this Ivy League admissions approach? Yes? Now, some people ask me what I was personally good at. Well, I was personally good at sort of social stuff, at changing how society views things. So I'm good at communication, I'm good at philosophy, and I'm good at economics. Specifically, within economics, I was interested in computer science, not in computer science, but within economics, I was interested in digital currencies. I'm going to give more information on this later on because there's more to cover. But for now, just tell me if you understand everything, right? Because if you don't, you will not understand the other slides. Do you understand it? Write yes in comments if you do. All right, awesome. If you understand, we will now move on to the next slide. Let me turn on the slide again. Do you see the screen, guys? If yes, please message yes in the chat. Munisa, Kamalda, Amir, Fazilov, Shahjahan Khan, Ulugh Arif John, Expert Jahan. All right, thank you guys. You can see it. Now let's move on. The next thing that I would like to talk about is how admissions officers score your activities. Now, a lot of people saying it's all just feelings. If an admission officer feels good, then they will accept. If not, then they will not accept. Now, that sounds intuitive, but it's not really the case. They also have an almost objective metric. Now, when you take IELTS exam, there is a rubric, right? Meaning if you get 36 answers right in listening section, you get like 8.5 or 8, right? In IELTS listening. So there is a definitive sort of metric. Now, while there is no completely definitive metric in admissions, there certainly is a quantitative measure that admissions officers use in every college, right? They have a quantitative system. Now, I'm going to teach you what Harvard does it, how Harvard does it. You can look up how other universities does it. The reason I know how Harvard specifically rates your application is because it's public, right? Recently, there was a Harvard lawsuit case. Basically, Asian people sued Harvard saying that they were discriminating against Asian people. So, and because the court was reviewing every application, it became public because it must be public, right? So that's how I know it, if you want to learn about the source. So how do admissions officers at Harvard score your activities? So again, they don't just feel your activity, they also score your activities. Now, there are they Harvard rates your application, specifically activities, essays, and other parts, based on a scale of 1 to 6. Now, 1 is extraordinary. No, 2 is excellent, 3 is good. So 1 is like top level, like 99th percentile, and 6 is basically you don't have anything, or it's a very small thing. It's not tangible thing. So that's how Harvard reviews. Now let's go slightly more specific, right? If you have 6, like you don't have any activity. If you were just a club member at school, right? If there's a president and you're just a member at it, it's weak. Like there's little involvement. Now, there's also 4. That is reasonable involvement, but you don't have any leadership or achievement. Like if you're just a member who has gone up in the hierarchy, but not high enough to become a president or the leader of the organization, it's just bland. And a lot of the activities that you do, that I personally have done, it turned out to be bland activities. For example, imagine doing sports activities. You play football at school and you're sort of a captain of a class. And в школе, в классе ты просто капитан футбольной команды. That's bland. Come on. It's a school group clap, not even a school not even a school football team captain, right? Even if it's a school football team captain, it's still bland because there's no achievement behind it. Understand? I personally was 5 times national champion in rugby, and I was a master of sports. Even that is not excellent. That was still probably good. It's not high enough. Now, a lot of what you guys do and what I have personally done, what a lot of my students have done before I learned about this specific metric was, really good, really, sort of energetic activities, amazing initiative, but it's just a local level, right? School level distinction, meaningful involvement, but it's not as good. The other thing is, if you're running some regional level initiative and you're a sort of captain of it, it's also good, but it's not excellent. You see, in order to get in, you have to have at least twos. You have to have at least two twos, meaning at least 2 of your activities need to get twos, the score of 2. It must be excellent. Now, excellent is a national level recognition, okay? When you have like at least 1,000 members, active members, you have a presence on social media, you have a presence on you have established collaboration with like existing organizations to show credibility. You have some recommendation letters that prove that you've actually done it. So this is excellent. And the extraordinary is when you have national or international distinction. You have a published research paper. You're an Olympiad winner. You're a world-class performer. For example, if you play piano regularly, like at home or at school, that's 5. But if you play piano and you're a captain of the sort of a music club at school, that's 4. If you're a number 1 performer in your region, it's 3. But if you're an international or like national number 1 performer in your state, in your country, and you performed internationally, that's 2. But if you're like elite, and your shows are on Netflix, that's 1. But guys, you don't have to have an extraordinary activity. A lot of people don't have it, and it's fine. Okay? You don't have to win international mass Olympiad to get into Harvard or other top universities. 2 is enough. But what a lot of people get wrong is they do tons of number 3 activities. MU1 club, 500 members, amazing. But then it's 3. Volunteering club, how many members? 500 members. At what scale? Regional scale. Again, 3. What else you've done? Oh, I've done sports. I won regional football championship as a captain. Whoa, that's good. Again, 3. 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. Guys, number 3 is not going to get you in. What's going to get you in is 2. So it's way better to have at least one, two, and have five fours, then have seven goods. Okay, I'm repeating again. On a scale of one to six, one being extraordinary and six being none, you're way better off having one excellent activity that gets a rank of two, and have four activities that are average, rather than having like seven or eight good activities, three activities. Okay, so try to focus. Try to say no to activities that are good or average. Focus on getting an excellent activity, publish a research paper, get your project to become national, have at least 5,000 followers on social media following your page, right? You know, you look at the Brad debate. How many followers do you think they have? Can you guess? Can someone look it up on like Instagram? I will look it up as well. Can you guys check how many followers Ibrat debate has? You see, I don't know if you can see it, but like on Instagram, they have 7,000. They almost have 7,600 followers. On Telegram, they have 11,000. On LinkedIn, they have like 2 or 3,000. All right, now that is scale, guys. That is scale. That is extraordinary or excellent. I would probably put it on extraordinary because there was no debate club at this scale in Uzbekistan. But that's what shows scale, right? So why don't you just start your project and focus on this one activity that you have? You can like I know people who literally run paid ads on Instagram so that their Instagram page gets more traffic, so they have more followers. Now, it doesn't mean you have to do nakrutka. Please, like, don't be unethical. You know, that's what a lot of people in Uzbekistan do. But guys, run paid ads if needed, but get to 10,000 followers, get to 5,000 followers. Don't have less than 1,000 followers in submitting your page. Okay, now but again, it's way better to have some social media presence than none. Now, De La Frus, I have reviewed her activities profile, her activities like social media, and it had like 600 followers. But again, it's better to have 600 than not, right? So it's still excellent, you know, because the core topic was very, very niche topic. So have social media, guys. Run your social media, have people participate in it online, offline, and focus more on activities that get you to excellent, to two, rather than, you know, having 10 activities or seven activities that are good. A lot of the activities that I have personally done were good. And that's probably the reason I think why I was not able to get in my first year of application, even though I had like fantastic energy. If anyone told me, Look, you have so much energy, just focus on the activity that is excellent or extraordinary," I would be easily able to do it. But because no one told me, I was not able to do it. But I'm telling you this, and guess how much time you saved? Guess how much time you saved in comments? How many months do you think you saved? So the point is, you have to say no to different callings, going to MUNs, going to volunteering organizations, going to random conferences and forums, and focusing on what you have to prioritize. How many months do you think I saved you guys in your specific case? Right? It's hard to visualize for you guys, but because I've personally done this, I can tell you I've saved at least 7 months. At least 7 months. I can guarantee that. So say no to activities that are three, say yes to excellent, say yes to extraordinary. Now that is how Harvard ranks your application. Now, before we move on, again, I'll give you one specific definition. I have called it a spike, but Harvard officially uses the word well-lopsided. You see, well-lopsided. Now that is the opposite of well-rounded. Well-rounded is basically, you know, when you have people who do volunteering, art, computer science, mathematics, you know, humanities, right? They do 10 different things. Well-lopsided is when you do one thing, but you do it exceptionally well. So that is well-lopsided. You can search it on Google. Again, before we move on, let's understand if you understood everything. Did you understand everything in this specific chapter? Okay. Perfect. Now let's move on. Next, we have I personally use tiers, right? Like level. There are levels to the game. And I will try to give you a basic understanding of different tiers. Personally, when I teach students in admissions program, in profile building program, in full support, I tell them to start from T1 activities, tier one, okay? Just like here, start from extraordinary and excellent, focus on it, and only if you get the activity going, you move on to the other one. But I'll give you a basic sort of way to understand it. So um, number four is you're just a club member. Number three, you're a leader, but the organization is not large. Tier two is when the organization is very large. You have at least 2,000 members. It's social, you have pages on social media that admissions officers can see and verify that you've actually done them. Okay, but it's on a regional level. It doesn't have that many people. And tier two is when the project is very large, when it's like national. So try to get your project to become national. Now that's not very hard. The way you can do it is, I can even teach you. The way you do this is you basically open a Telegram page first, or Instagram, and then you write your mission, you write your purpose. What problem are you trying to solve in your society, in your specific academic domain, and then you give an announcement, or you ask the admins of Telegram channels like Volunteers, EduGrants, and other sort of channels that post about these sort of opportunities. You tell them, we're a very strong organization with amazing team, and we're looking for regional ambassadors or regional team leads. Ibrat debate, that's how Ibrat debate developed. That's how other clubs, other organizations have developed into becoming a large organization. So that's how you do it. You ask Telegram channel admins to post an opportunity for people in the region like Surkhandarya, Tashkent, or other regions to become regional sort of leaders. And when you have it, when you have your when you have your project present in almost every single region of Uzbekistan, and you have like 2,000 plus members, and you're a president of it, and people can verify it on social media, on LinkedIn, on Instagram, on Telegram, that's when your activity is tier two. Now, that takes a lot of time. That takes a lot of sort of leadership, persuasion, teamwork, right? That is exactly why it's considered a strong activity. Tier two or tier one. Now, there are two ways to go to tier one. Tier one is when it's really big. Like Ibrat debate is probably tier one activity. Now, there is one way you can go from tier two to tier one. It's by having a very niche problem, niche but important problem you're trying to solve. For example, do we have girls here? If yes, write in the comments. Do we have girls here? Yes? Okay, we do have girls here. Now, in Uzbekistan specifically, we have a lot of problems related to girls, right? We have, some people, literally raping girls. We have a stereotype that prevents, some girls from studying computer science. There's so many problems. There's gender equality problem, right? Meaning that there's no gender equality yet. There is gender pay gap problem. There's a lot of problems related to females that our society has not yet solved. And if you find that specific problem that most people have not yet cared about, and you try to solve it, and you partner with existing large organizations like UNDP, United Nations, UNICEF, or Uzbek ministries, or corporations like Coca-Cola, these partnerships, they take you to an official level, because admissions officers know United Nations Development Program or Coca-Cola or Pepsi or KFC, they don't partner with like random people, random organizations. You go through due diligence, checking, and only if you're like proper guy that they can trust do they sign sort of an official contract. Meaning, if you have an existing large organization and you want to take it from tier two to tier one, what you do is you do a partnership. Now that takes a lot of time, and I only teach it inside the sort of admissions program, other things. I cannot teach you how to do partnerships. I mean, I can teach you, but I can't teach you right now. But that's how you do it. So you basically do a partnership with existing large established organizations to show trust, to show credibility. Now, that is tier 2 activities. Some people asked about Olympiads, guys. This is not about honors. This is only about activities, extracurricular activities. Okay, so yeah, let's not get distracted. Now, there are other things as well. Now, tier 1. What are tier 1 activities? Tier 1 activities. Wait, I think there's one thing that I have missed. In tier 2, there's also internship and research. Now, internship at a very small, startup that is related to your field, that is tier 2. That's not tier 3. For example, what's your major, guys? Write in the comment. Based on that, I'll give you a sort of recommendation or something. I'll give you a case study. International relations. Let's say it's international relations. Now, when it comes to international relations, there are existing organizations like United Nations office in Uzbekistan. There's different embassies of different countries in Uzbekistan. There is, research think tanks, right? If you do an internship in one of those organizations, it's a very good thing, okay? But if it's, let's say, some other field like marketing, if you go to regular marketing company, that's tier 2. But guys, if you go to a large, very established international, multinational corporation like KFC marketing team, or Google, KPMG, or some other very established multinational high reputation company, it can be tier 1. Even if it's not that multinational, even if it's very good company in Uzbekistan, and you show that it's a tier 1 sort of company in Uzbekistan, and you got an internship there through I don't know, applying, networking, that's tier 1. Okay, so internship is really helpful. And what I recommend you do is you do an internship, you do research, and you do a passion project. These 3 things are what give you sort of tier 2 and tier 1 points in admissions. So internship, research, passion project. Now, I have talked about internship. There's also research aspect. Research, there are 2 ways you can do research, right? First is I'm not going to talk about only just independent research. Don't do just independent research, okay? Try to do research with some mentor. And try to get that mentor to be as sort of trustworthy as possible. If it's a professor from a top university like Harvard, and you indicate in your comment out, I have published a research paper on this specific problem, and I was supervised by Harvard professor or Harvard PhD, that gives you a lot of credibility. Okay, that means you're tier 1 person. So try to do research, but try to get a mentor. How to do it? You do cold emailing, and it's hard to teach it in like 5 minutes. So I only teach it like inside paid programs. But regardless, if you do cold email, it's very possible to get researchers a sort of a supervision from professors. But that's the first method that you can get tier 1 for. The second method is you basically do research paper and you publish it at like Q3 journal, Q3 or even Q4 journal. Q3 means basically there are also tiers in academia. There's Q1, that is like highest, that's Nature, that's Science, that's National Geographic, and other. I don't think there's a journal for National Geographic. I don't think it's an academic journal, right? So there's Nature, right? There's Science and other academic journals. So if you publish it there, it's obviously not very possible. But if you publish it at sort of even Q4 journal, it means you have significant potential. So try to do research and try to do it with a professor. Okay. Igor, please, how do I block him? Okay, let's continue. Before we move on, I would like to again, as for passion project, I will explain it in a second, okay? Before we move on, did you guys understand the tiers, the different tiers that I use inside my programs to assist my students? Did you understand it? We only have like 8 yeses. What about others? Okay, awesome. Now let's move on to the next part. The next part is where I explain exactly what a spike is and how to arrive at it. Again, listen, this is a very important part, probably the most important part of the lesson. So, spike. What is a spike? The spike is the place where you have gone so deep, with such commitment and visible output that an admissions officer says he's already an expert or is becoming an expert. Right? So don't, a lot of people say, I'm interested in computer science. And I ask them, well, what coding languages do you know? And he says, I don't know. Isn't the university supposed to be what I learn? And I'm like, no, you have to go to university to network. You get resources that you would otherwise not get in some other place, right? Can you learn Python at Harvard? Yes, but you can learn Python at Nanyang Technical University as well. I don't even know if such a university exists. Anyway, right? So you can learn it in any place, but why exactly Harvard? You go to Harvard or you go to HQST or you go to NUS because there's a specific thing that you need to get that you would not be able to get somewhere else. So that means don't wait to learn about your field until you go to university. Learn it before you even apply. Become an expert in it. At university, you should become like an even more sort of specialized person. Otherwise, you probably will be unemployed. Anyway, right? So spike, become an expert in your field. Now, what do I mean by in your field? If I say become an expert in computer science, now that's also probably not impossible, right? It takes at least 5 years or like 3 years to become an expert at computer science. But there's one thing you can do in order to accelerate how you can become an expert in a specific field. And that is when you go niche. When you go niche. Before we go into niche, let me explain how to find sort of this your spike. First, you have to have genuine interest in that field. Okay, you have to have, well, let's I think I mistake the order. Let's start from how to find that niche, and then we'll move back to how to choose the right one. Okay. So the way you how to find your spike or how to create your spike. First, you choose your major field, major academic field. Now, I'm personally interested in economics, or maybe a lot of you are also interested in economics. Do we have anyone interested in economics? Yes? Awesome. We have a lot of people interested in economics. Now, imagine, you see, how many people did we have? We had like at least 12 people interested in economics, right? But if you say I'm interested in economics, that's like 10,000 applicants. Who is not interested in economics? Economics is like money, right? In a lot of people's imagination, especially in Uzbekistan. You ask a random person, what's your major? Or what's going to be your major? They're going to say economics just because they've studied English and maths. Like studying English and maths is not economics, but a lot of people apply to economics. So you're not going to stand out with economics. But guys, I'll go one step more niche, okay? How many of you are interested in healthcare economics? Can you write I'm interested, can you write I am? How many people are interested in healthcare economics? Can you write I am in the chat if yes? Now, healthcare economics is basically when you connect med school or like medical part with economics. None yet, right? And I'm sure there's going to be someone interested, but healthcare economics is already like you're standing out right now. But because 50,000 people apply to Harvard, even healthcare economics is not enough. You have to go even niche. By the way, behavioral economics is probably as common as economics, okay? It does not stand out at all. Behavioral economics has almost become as popular as economics nowadays. So behavioral economics, even healthcare economics is not enough. Same with educational economics. Again, if you go one step, even though it stands out in your specific region, it's not enough. You see, that's why I have written generic here, because even if it's healthcare economics, it's not enough. There's not enough story. But if you go two steps further, you get, I study how medicine prices affect low-income families in Uzbekistan. Now, how many people do you think are interested in how medicine prices affect low-income families? Now, not exactly in Uzbekistan, but like in general. How many people in your generation do you think who are applying to Harvard, who have 1500 plus SAT, amazing activities, amazing honors, amazing essays, are applying to Harvard with an aim to study how medicine prices affect low-income families in Uzbekistan? 10, right? 12. And out of 12, it's going to be very easy to stand out. Even if it's like 10 people, you're standing out. But guess what? You want to be number one. You want to be number one. That's why go super niche and go 3 steps further. I have built an app mapping the cheapest pharmacies, apteki, across Tashkent, tested with 150 families, presented at the National Science Fair, and had a local clinic adapt my cost model. How many people do it? One. See? Now, if you study healthcare economics, you go one step further. Medicine prices affecting low-income families. That even this one is already sort of enough. If you conduct research, if you have a passion project. Now, when I said passion project, that's exactly what I meant. You pick one major, one or two majors, you find one specific problem in it, and you try to either understand it or you try to solve it. Ideally, you should try to solve it. Now, what's the problem here? Let's say I'm interested in economics and I'm also interested in healthcare because, I personally cannot afford medicine, right? I cannot buy sort of medicine because it's too expensive. So it's a problem. In every society, it's a problem. Medicine costs are a problem. Now, if you show to the society, there are some places where you can buy it for a cheaper price and you show it electronically. What do? You make the prices affordable to your population, right? So you're in a sense solving. But this guy is not just solving. He's testing with 150 families. So he's conducting academic, quantitative, empirical research. Now that's something that only a few people do. And then he's presenting it at the National Science Fair. Now that's two. Again, like presenting at the National Science Fair is like tier one activity, and you're having a local clinic adapt your cost model. You see, it's a collaboration with a local clinic. Now, it doesn't have to be like, I don't know, some AstraZeneca or something, right? Major in multinational firm, but some collaboration with an established company, established organization. It shows trust, credibility. One person, and you're a number one expert in the world, in this specific thing. Do you see? If you can zoom out as much as you can, and it's an important, zooming in or picking a niche is not picking a niche that no one cares about and just, becoming an expert in it. No, it's not that. Picking a niche is finding a problem that everyone, not everyone, but a lot of people really struggle with, and you try to solve it and you try to understand it because you have some personal story. For example, I will make up a story. I come of, I come from a relatively underprivileged family, and my family cannot really afford a lot of the high-end expensive medicines that my mom has to buy. And that's why she's sick. And what I had to do was I had to go through every single apteki, every single, how do you call it, pharmacies in Tashkent to find the place that sells it in an affordable price. Now, I have just solved this for myself, but if I solve it for others, if I show that specific pharmacy to other 150 families and I run social media for them, they're probably selling because they don't have the social media, right? I promise them I will run your social media for free, but you need to promise me that you will not increase the prices. You will keep the margin, you will not have any increased cost, but you have to keep the prices, right? So I'm solving for my community, right? Do you see the passion? Do you see the story? Do you think you're going to remember this, or do you think you're going to forget this next year? how to find that kind. Okay, before I respond to the question, do you think you're going to remember the story, guys? That, my mom needed medicine and I couldn't afford it, and I found a pharmacy, and then I went there and I said, look, I'm interested in marketing and I'm interested in medicine, and so I want to promote your company, but you need to promise that you will not increase the prices because I want local people in Uzbekistan, in Tashkent, to be able to afford medicine so that they can survive, right? That is passion. That is passion, okay? Now, how to find that specific passion? That's a very valid question. Thank you, Timer. Um, I hope that's your nickname, right? So, how to find that sort of passion? The way you do this is you look at your family. What are some of the most significant problems that my family has faced or is facing that I personally care about? Now, if my mom is affected from, high-end medicine prices, I'm affected by it, right? So there are similar things in your specific academic field. So try to, again, the thing that I made was related to marketing, economics, and medicine, right? I'm personally not as interested in medicine, but if I were, it would be an basically ideal activity. So try to connect the distancing to your field. Now, medicine and marketing is not very sort of connectable, right? It's not very connected, but because you connect two unconnectable things, it stands out. So find problems, concerns, or interests that your family has had for a lot of years, that you cared about, that you struggled with, that you tried to solve and have solved or are still working on solving, and you think other people have the same problem too. Okay? So that's how you do it. Now, does everyone understand the zoom in method? Did everyone understand it? Yes, no? What if we want to solve a bigger problem? Yes, we can go after a bigger problem. Like the thing is, it should not just be a problem that you just studied. Okay, just like there is a gender equality problem and I want to solve it, and that's why I'm applying to Harvard. No, you're not going to stand out. Ideally, it should be like something more specific and tangible that you want to solve. Startups, yep, startups can also be good, but just try to have, show that you're going after a problem like this. For example, even if you make a lot of money from this thing, you're still helping people solve their important problem, and it's contributing in a positive way, right? So you have to frame it well. Framing is as important as having an activity itself. Okay, now let's move on. How now, when you're looking at your activities, there are four ingredients that you have to care about. Four things. Number one, you have genuine interest. Have to be personally interested in. As I said, if it because it's medicine, I would probably not do it because I'm not very interested in medicine. But if it was like income, something more in like economics and social science and political science, I'll probably be interested in it. But if you're interested in medicine and economics, that's an ideal thing. So you have to be genuinely interested. If you're not genuinely interested, you don't have to do it. The reason I'm telling this is because it takes so much time. It takes so much energy that if you're not genuinely interested, you will not be able to grow it to like 10,000 followers. So pick a niche, pick an interest that you already have. Okay? That's the first thing. Second, find a specific problem. Again, can it be a bigger problem? A lot of people say, yes, it can be a bigger problem, but ideally it better be specific so that it's easier to remember. A real world issue that your interest connects to, okay? And it should be related to your context, okay? Meaning, for example, if you're from Karakal, Pakistan, and you talk about RLC, that's probably more memorable and more sort of authentic rather than me talking about RLC. I have personally talked about RLC in my first year when I was applying. But then I'm from Fergana, which is like the opposite end of Uzbekistan, which probably has like close to like zero connection with Karakol, Pakistan. Like I don't get personally affected by what happens in the RLC. Whereas you're affected every single day. One of your relatives gets sick, right? You know, there's impact on economics, there's impact on salaries, on unemployment, right? There's a lot of issues that you personally get influenced by, get impact from this specific problem. So if it's related to your context, it's more ownable. It touches the person deeper. Okay, number three, real output. Guys, we need output. What did you build? Like, I just studied this thing. It's not enough. Just studying. I identified this problem. That's not enough. That's just the first step that everyone can do. What did you build? What new thing have you built? Startup, tech solution, a Telegram bot, a way for local people to call and find answer to their problems, to their questions. Maybe you have written a blog at least, right? That's the smallest thing that you can do, like writing a Substack or like Twitter or like Telegram or Instagram. That's very small, but it's still better than just saying, I was just learning about it. If you taught people about this, like on social media, or maybe like local people or people from other countries when they came, you did, you guided them, like gave tours, that's also good. But try to build a club, try to build an organization that has a lot of people in it. People matters, people or users, okay? Users are also people, but like people is when you have like people coming and then doing something and then, constantly being within an organization when you're a leader. That's in offline or like communities, but it can also be a sort of a tech solution that you have built and a lot of people, like 1,000 plus people use it. That's also very good. Number four, visible growth. Show that you started from zero. You started in your like when you were grade 9 or like grade eight, and then it has grown over time. Don't say, I have started this club in 11th grade, in September, I'm applying in December, and I already have 10,000 followers. Now, that's not cool. What's cool is when you show survival, when you show persistence, when you show that you have stretched, you have pushed your activity, even when other people have left you. Okay? Show that it has grown over time rather than showing that it's just a new thing. Because if it's just a new thing, one thing, they're going to think, oh, he's just used AI to do it, and like he's published in like 2 weeks and that's it. No, that's not an activity. Activity is something that you do for a prolonged period of time. It has to be at least 1 month. Each activity has to be at least 1 month. And if it's a passion project, it must be at least 6 months. Okay. We don't want an activity that you started in like in August and then you began running it in September and you're applying in November, showing that you have this program. Start at least 6 months before the deadline. So if you're planning to apply in early decision one, that is November 1st, you have to start 6 months before that. That is October 1, September 1, August, July, June, May. So you have to start your activity. You have to find what activity it is. You have to get people to join you in June or in May, not even in June, in May. So you have like 1 or 2 months to think of an activity, because if you don't start it right now, it's going to be too late. Okay. Visible growth. That's number 4 ingredient. Next, we have 5 rubric criteria that you need to care about. That is, it comes from a research from Harvard and the University of Michigan that I have found on the internet. Okay. Again, I'm not making this up. I just search a lot. I do a lot of research. So 5 things. Number 1, did you change something real? Okay. It has to be a real problem. Admissions officer ask this question a lot. If this student has not done this, would anything be different? Right? Here, if you didn't introduce this sort of this what a medicine price sort of tech solution, would something change, or it would stay the same? No, it would not stay the same. Some people would suffer because they would not be able to afford that medicine because they don't know about the existence of those pharmacies, right? So show that it's a real thing. Show how important it is. that what you're doing matters to your community at least, even if it doesn't matter yet for the world. Okay, change something real. That's number one. Number two, growth. Did you get better over time? Again, here I've emphasized it. Visible growth over time, at least 6 months. Okay, keep this in mind. Number three, scale. Have a lot of people, have a lot of users. The larger number you have, the better. That, guys, does not mean you have to fabricate it. You don't have to fabricate. You can say 2000 and be honest. It's fine. You don't have to like 10x the numbers. You can still get in. In fact, I know so many people who have written everything to an ideal truth. I'm not saying I have personally done it, but I know I have friends or I have students. They've written everything perfectly, like perfectly in a way where they were completely truthful about what they did, how many people they had, how many visitors they had, and they still got in. So it means you don't have to have an activity that has like 10,000 people. Even if you have like slightly less, like 8,000, it's fine. But if you start in like September, in August, and you have 500 members, you can fabricate it. It's not going to help you. Okay. So don't be thinking like, I will start later on, have like 200 people, and then I will write 2,000 members. That's not going to count. It has to be real. Okay. Scale matters. Third, number four, authenticity. Authenticity. Activities, essays, and recommendation letters must describe the same person, must describe that you fight for the same cause, that you're interested in healthcare, economics, you're connected, and you want to do something in the future. Activities, essays, and recommendation letters. Now, the biggest problem is when I was personally applying, my biggest problem was I was doing many things, but none of them were talking about one thing. So what I'm saying is, if in your essays you say, I'm interested in healthcare economics, and at university I want to combine pre-med with economics, and in the future I want to study how prices affect medicine, how medicine prices affect, incomes, or how it impacts, healthcare system within a specific country, and I want to become like a health minister in my country, or I want to become like a UN someone. Activities should also talk. Activities should also match. That means in your essay again, you said you want to study healthcare economics. You have to have an activity that's related to healthcare economics. If you're saying you wanna work in the UN, ideally try to have something related to the UN. Show that you've already something, and at university or through university you want to just scale it. Okay, each part of your application, not every, but the most important part should be linking to the same story. That is authenticity. And last, context. Guys, you don't have to have an activity with 10,000 people. Okay, you don't have to have a tech platform that's completely like impressive, because you don't have the same resources. If I get 1,500 on the SAT, is it impressive? It's impressive. But if you are from like Ukraine and you got 1490 on the SAT, which one is more impressive? You or me? You. Why? Because you don't have the resources to prepare for the SAT. You don't have the stable internet connection. You don't have the peace of mind, right? Your country is war torn, and there's no sort of, it's very hard to prepare given your resources. I'm sitting here, in a warm room, in a warm house, completely focused, stable internet connection. My parents are with me. I'm not sort of thinking about other things. 1,500 is not that impressive if you consider the context. So the reason I'm telling this is try to show that context. If you don't have the resources to sort of start that project, you can show in your essays. I didn't even have a laptop to start it when I was starting. I was using a laptop in the library, or I was going 200, I was walking, not I was walking, but I was going on a taxi 50 kilometers to Tashkent city, or to the regional capital, to run this thing, right? Show that you didn't have the resources. That helps you. It does not sort of prevent you from getting in. Okay, that's okay. You can be yourself. Now, that's what I mean. When people tell you can be yourself, that's exactly what they mean. Show your context. Being yourself is not like, oh, I'm interested in computer science, I'm interested in economics, I'm interested in chess. It's not saying 10 different parts. It's saying where you started and where you are now and where you want to be in the future. That is context. That is being yourself, showing your personality. Okay. It's not showing that you're interested in 10 different things. You have to be strategic, but you can also be honest if you know what you're being honest about. Okay. If you had that sort of problem, you can definitely talk about it. And yeah, but just don't make it a centerpiece of your sort of, don't make the problem, don't make the lack of resources the central theme of your essays or central piece of your application. Okay. Show that you had problems, but then focus more on how you reacted to the situation that you had. You're saying your parents forced you to marry. Now that's obviously a terrible saying. But then if you focus only on that saying, you're not going to get in. But if you show how you reacted to it, there was some other things that you've done to, for example, maybe prevent others from having the same problem. That's a different mentality. So try to be more sort of a person who responds to the problems as giving solutions, as being a positive force in the world rather than just complaining about the problems. Now, before we move on to the next step, is everything clear yet, guys? Now, before I move on, a lot of people have asked me if I have some specific program related to activities, and that's why I would like to briefly talk about this program. So I have basically designed a portfolio building program because, as I have said, I have personally done a lot of things. I was the coolest guy, I had the most energy, but I still could not get in my first year because I didn't have a leader who could help me with the strategy. That's why I have designed a program that will help you find your spike, as well as help you start your project, brainstorm the idea for the project, and then scale it to a national level and turn it into a tier one activity. Not just activity, not just the extracurricular activity, not just the passion project, but also find internships and find research professors to get to do research with. So our students have got into Harvard, and of course, not MIT yet. I think there was a mistake from the graphic design part. But one thing that when I was analyzing their profile, one thing that they did different was all parts of their application was linking to the same thing. They were trying to solve some problem. And throughout the program, that's exactly what I do. So if you're also struggling with this problem, you're doing 10 different things, but you don't know which one is the best one, and you want to focus on the one thing that you want to do and scale it to a national or international level, you can do this one. So that's the transformation that you're going to experience. Now you have a list of clubs, but you can't explain which one is the most important to you. You can't explain which one you're most passionate about. You do volunteering, you do something in science, but that's again tier 4, tier 3 activities. You don't get tier 1 or tier 2 activities. But after the program, you're going to become a person with tier 2 activities at least. Again, I will not promise that you will have tier 1 right at the beginning, but after 6 months, right when you're applying, I can almost guarantee that you're going to have at least one tier 1 activity that stands out in your application. You can say, I'm an expert in this specific field because you've learned so much about it. You've cared so much. You have been obsessed about it so much that you became an expert in that specific domain. Not computer science, but something specifically within computer science. Not economics, but something specific within healthcare economics. And when you walk into every room, you can confidently introduce yourself. I am Levsha. I'm interested in, for example, economics, specifically digital currencies, and I'm an expert in this thing. You can say it if you learn so much about it. Honestly, if you look up the statistics, if you spend 20 hours on learning one craft, you can become a 99th percentile person on it. Again, if you dedicate only 20 hours for one specific skill, you can become a 99th percentile person. Do you see how easy it is if you focus and if you have the right strategy and mentorship? And that's exactly what I teach inside this profile building program, what we teach inside the profile building program. So there are three shifts. First, how you see yourself. So you will stop thinking like a student, just doing different things, and you will start thinking like a leader. If you want to become a leader, that's the program for you. But if you just want to do many activities, this program is probably not right for you. Second, you actively curate how the world sees you. You can reach to professors and become their research assistants. You will do something that people will instantly recognize. Now, even if Aziz Bek did not get into Harvard, people would still recognize him as a guy who has started Ibrat debate, right? Because it's a large organization. Similarly, when you finish the admission season, people are going to recognize you as the leader of this specific organization. And third, most importantly, this is about realizing your potential, right? You have a potential. If you focus really at least 20 hours, you will become 99th percentile person. But what are you 99th percentile person on right now? Do you have any specific expertise on any specific thing? You don't, and that's bad. And I had the same problem too when I was applying. But with this program, you will be able to become a not number one, but 99th percentile expert, and you will learn how to build, how to scale, and how to market your project so that you have a lot of people following you. Now, what have our past students have talked about it? Let's read it. So Ozad Beg, you probably know him. He got a scholarship 400, not 400,000, you know, if you saw it on my Instagram, but $403,000 of scholarship from Amherst College, one of the most prestigious universities in the US. After a devastating round of rejections, the program gave me back something I thought was gone, the belief that my story was worth telling. Every session pushed me to connect the small moments of my life to something larger. And that transformation led to Amherst College and $403,000. But the bigger change was inside. Again, a lot of people care about the result, the scholarship, the college. But inside, even if you don't get in, you will become such a different person that it will be worse. You will say it was worse even if I didn't get in. It would be worse even if I didn't get in. Now, Ozodbek took an essay program. I want to be transparent. This is about the essay program, not the profile. None of them took the profile building program because that's my first time doing it. Specifically the profile building. Technically, I was helping full support students only with profile. So a lot of these guys are mostly from essay program. My scores were strong, but I had no story. What the program taught me is that a story is not a decoration. It's the difference between an applicant and a person. So if you want to believe as a person rather than an application, you need to have a story. And he got into both Harvard and Columbia. And he had to choose between Harvard and Columbia. Do you understand? He had a full ride from both universities. Now, that's the dream that a lot of people have. Harvard and Columbia. Number three, we also have Sivara. I came in as a student who struggled to write. And I left as someone who understood that writing is thinking, and thinking is power. And the transformation was in how I saw myself and what I believed I was capable of becoming. Sivara is now studying at NYU Abu Dhabi with a full ride scholarship. And last, we have Jahangir, who got into Georgetown University and Carnegie Mellon University in Qatar. Both are in Qatar, and he got a full scholarship to both of them. I was an Asian who had become standard. The program showed me the gap between being smart and showing it. Writing 100 pages of reflections changed how I sang. Carnegie Mellon University didn't admit my grades. They admitted me. Do you want the university, Carnegie Mellon, Harvard, or other university to admit your application, or you want them to admit you as a person, as a leader? So yeah, let's look at the program. We start from finding your spike. We try to identify what your story is. So it's a group lessons, up to 20 people in the cohort. First, we start from the spike. What is your story? We try to identify what specific academic domains you're interested in or you may be interested in. Next, we start thinking about brainstorming. Okay, we do brainstorming, and then we get a basic MVP. MVP means, you know, the smallest version of your product or of your organization, and you try to validate. You talk to people. You talk to people to see if they would be interested in joining, and if they are interested, once you have the MVP, then we work on scaling. So first, we teach you how to think about new ideas that a lot of people would care about. Then we teach you how to validate it, and then we teach you how to persuade others to join your organization. Why should they care about? It's very difficult to get 10,000 people to join your project. And that's exactly why Azbek got in, right? He showed that he had the persuasion skill. He had the passion, the energy, the magnetic energy that could attract people. And that's how he got in. So grow your impact. You will be able to grow your impact, grow your project, and then enter the world as a leader. And last, we'll also teach you how to pitch your project to government and non-government organization. When you reach a certain stage, when you have like 1,000 people, you have to be able to pitch. Why? Because you will need money. Imagine you have 1,000 people in your organization and you gather all of them in one place. Where are you going to gather them? When you gather them, you have to give them some certificates. You have to give them some gifts so that they feel a sense of belonging to an organization. Where are you going to get the money from? From yourself, from your pocket, from your parents? I don't think asking from your parents is a good idea, right? I personally didn't ask for any gift. I didn't ask my parents money for any gift. I just spent it from my own pocket, and that was a terrible decision. When I graduated, I learned about pitching, I learned about persuasion, and then I started raising money. I started getting money from sort of government organization or non-government organization or sponsors so that they would pay it. I would, promote them, but then as a result, I would also grow the project. So it's going to be a 2 months program. Okay. Before we move on, do we have any questions? How could we study? Yep, I will give you more information. But yeah, donations is also possible, of course. But getting donations is very hard. I would not focus on donations. I would probably focus more on like going to, for example, Coca-Cola and saying, "Hey, I'm doing this really, really cool thing. I'm organizing this debate championship and I need sponsors." Now, I don't need $10,000 from you. I only need like 100 blocks of Coca-Cola. That's pretty simple for them, right? That's very easy. So I'm going to teach you how to sort of make that pitch. Now, what are our results? Our results are the following: Harvard, Columbia, Amherst College. 2 students actually got into Amherst. NYU Abu Dhabi, University of Chicago, Nanyang Technological University. We have 6 admits. To HQ, we have 5 admits. We have KAIST, Carnegie Mellon, Georgetown, Qatar, NUS in Singapore, Seoul National University, London School of Economics, University of Toronto, HQST, and other university. That's only the list that I was able to remember. There's certainly a lot more. There's University of Sydney. There's one more in Australia. There is a lot of actually universities that I just forgot including. So yeah. As for the mentors, one of the mentors is obviously going to be myself. As for the second mentor, we will finalize it very soon. But it will most likely be a mentor from an Ivy League university. It will probably either Harvard or Yale, but we're finalizing it. I cannot conclusively tell you who it's going to be. But designing the program, I personally have designed the program. Okay, as for the prices, okay, let me reveal. So we have 3 options. The first one is the knowledge, but it's just group lessons. That's pretty much minimum plan. If you want to just get the lessons, group lessons, you may ask questions, but it does not include any individual consultations. Okay, and we also have a parent progress system where we basically, give updates to your parents so that if you need some sort of research to organize an event or to get an internship or to connect with some professors, you will apply to different programs, right? Research programs. For example, applying to different, there are some expensive research programs that are worth applying to, and you will need money from your parents. And if it's hard for you to ask them, we may ask them instead of you. So that's the knowledge. It's the minimum plan, $599. We also have the second plan, which I would personally recommend, the coaching. That includes everything in foundation, that is group lessons, plus 8 30-minute individual coaching sessions. So the program runs 2 months, and every single week you're going to have one 30-minute individual coaching session. During the individual coaching session, the mentor will help you brainstorm ideas for your passion project, apply to research programs, and find and do cold email to internships, to research programs, and professors. That will also help you do an audit. So we will check what you're personally interested in, what's your academic passion, what problems do you care about. That's the second thing inside the coaching. And third, very important, cold email will help you reach out to professors. Last year, one of my students got a research assistantship from Harvard PhD student, former Harvard PhD student, right now an assistant professor at UT Austin. Does anyone here know about Bator Khabilov? So he has become a research assistant of Bator Khabilov, a famous economist from Uzbekistan. Another student became a research assistant to a Yale professor and Harvard PhD. So we have quite an extensive experience and will help you do the same. Next, we'll also help you do the pitches, how to persuade people. And last, we will also help you describe your activities on Common App. Okay, that's also very important. A lot of people do amazing activities, but they're unable to describe it because they simply don't know how to describe. By the way, at the end of today's lesson, I'm going to teach you how to describe it as well. It's going to be a very brief part, but it will be helpful as well. So stay until the end. And last, we have the commitment. Now that has a guarantee clause, meaning we will help you apply to research programs and we'll keep applying. We'll keep helping you apply until you get the research program acceptance. It can be either research program acceptance or research assistantship. So I can guarantee that. And if you don't get it, we will either keep applying or we will fully refund your money. So that's basically guaranteed. But what I personally would recommend is you don't have to really have a guarantee. This one is fine. This one is enough. That may sound expensive, but honestly, you're learning so much. You're learning how to start a project. You're learning how to scale. You're learning how to become a leader, how to make pitches. There's so much that you learn. And then you have individual coaching on common activities descriptions, right? So plus you can pay it in installments. You can pay it in 2 installments. So if you're interested in this plan, you may pay in 2 installments of $300. If you're interested in the coaching, you may pay it again in 2 installments. You can do the math yourself. Saying it was 375, right? So, and the commitment, you can make this payment as well in two installments as well. So that's about the program. Yeah. And now let's go back to the presentation. But before we move on to the presentation, do we have any questions? The price is for 2 months, not 1 month. Is it a one-time payment? Yes, it's a one-time payment for if you pay in 2 installments, you will have to obviously pay twice. But if you pay at once, you can pay it at once and it will be a one-time payment. Can I join in April? Nope. We're planning to start it in March and we will likely not run more iterations. The price is for 2 months. Is there an age limit? There is no age limit. There is a requirement to join, and that is 6.5 IELTS, 6.5 plus IELTS, because the lessons will be conducted in English. But because it's only activities, there is no specific requirement on the sort of research part, on the academic part. 3 installment works. 3 installments, nope, unfortunately that does not work. It has to be at least 2. It has to be at most 2. Do you personally teach? There will be other teachers as well, but I teach some classes as well. The other teacher will, again, likely be from one of the Ivy League institutions, either Harvard or Yale. Why you choose economics? I don't think it's very relevant, honestly. Is it for portfolio program only? Yes, it's only for portfolio. If you're interested in admissions, I also have an admissions program and you can sign up for admissions program as well. What is the deadline for second pay? So as for the pay, you pay the first one before the program starts and you pay the second one after 1 month. Can IELTS 6 guy join? Nope, 6 is not enough. You have to have the knowledge at least that takes to 6.5. Yep, both, all of the prices are for 2 months. If you know English well, you can join. Yeah, there is no very strict requirement. Will this program available next year? I do not. If you're 9th grade, now is the perfect time to start, honestly. I don't recommend starting in 10th grade because, as I said, it has to be at least 10 months, at least 6 months. And an ideal period of time is at least 2 years. If you run something for 2 years, you can scale it to a national level. Okay, now the other thing that I would like to tell is that I have basically prepared a PDF brochure on the spike. So you can learn more about what spike is, how to find your spike, and if you want to get the access to that PDF file, PDF brochure, you can fill out this survey. At the end, just a second. Oh, there you go. So I have sent a link. If you want to get a PDF brochure of the spike report, you can get it by filling out the survey. Now, some people come from Uzbek channel, and the PDF brochure that I said on the Uzbek channel is different from the one that I'm sending right now. So it's a completely different PDF brochure that I have not shown anywhere. You can fill out the survey. It takes like 2 minutes to complete, and then we will go back to the lesson, okay? Next up, we got best activities to do in 2026. But for now, you may fill out the survey. I'll give you 2 minutes. Meanwhile, I'll drink some water. So at the end, when you fill out the survey, at the end, there's a link. You have to push the link in order to access the brochure, okay? No, we do not guarantee an internship. We only guarantee an acceptance to a research program. That's something that we can control. As for the internship, it's purely like, as you know, in Uzbekistan, it works like nepotism. I don't know to what extent your family is connected. Okay, I'll give you 1 more minute. It only takes like 90 seconds to fill out at most. We already have like 30 people, 30 responses. And then we'll move back to the lesson. The best part is ahead, guys. The best part. How to describe activities. What are the best activities to do in 2026? Now we are starting. It's just a part of the lesson. All right, 30 seconds. For those who have joined just now, if you want to get the PDF report on the best extracurriculars to do and the spike report, you can fill out the survey. Also, if you want to join the program, you may also fill out. I'll contact everyone who have filled out the survey. Most of my students did internship at SER. Yes, they did it at SER because yeah, I taught them how to do it. Yes, it's not guaranteed though. Like if it was like full support or something, I probably could guarantee, but it's like the program is not that expensive for me to guarantee it. Like if I can get an internship, a guaranteed internship for $1,000, I will give you $1,000 if you can get me an internship at like at like private equity firm. No one can guarantee an internship. It's something professional, and high school students usually don't do it, and are not allowed to do it, by the way. My students have done it, but we've used some specific strategies to get it. Do you have financial aid? We plan to do financial aid, yes. We plan to do financial aid, but it will be limited. and it will most likely be for those who already have some significant experience in terms of academics, like they have like 50 plus SAT, or they have some crazy academic part going on and they need help with the activities part. So it will be more like merit-based rather than only need-based. All right, time is up. Now we are going back to the lesson. Let's go back to the lesson. Let me just a second. One, I also send it here. Oops, not this one. All right, let's move on. Are you guys ready? I think we're supposed to have like 80 people at this point. So let's wait for 1 more minute for everyone to join and then we will move back. Meanwhile, let me answer your questions. By the way, do you guys like the lesson so far? Did you learn a lot? Do you like me? Do you like my teaching? Yes, now only 3 people. Other people, we have like 60 people. Are you guys learning? Do you guys like my teaching or not? I'm asking for the last time. Do you guys so far, have you guys learned a lot so far? And do you like my teaching? What can you say about neuroscience major? I can say it's a very interesting field, and I cannot say anything more because I'm simply not good at it. But I can teach the mechanisms for how you can approach to coming up with an idea for a neuroscience major, but I'm not very well aware. All right, awesome. Let's keep it up. How many people we have? We have 83 people. All right, let's continue. I need at least 90 people. I think the people are joining. 89, one more. Oh wait, someone. Okay, perfect. 90 plus people. Now we can move back. What are the best activities to do in 2026? I will go straight from tier one. Tier one, the best activity you can do in 2026 is doing independent research with publication. Publish on SSRN, publish on Q2, Q3, Q1 journals. That is the best thing that you can do in 2026. As you know, here I explained what a tier one activity is, and Harvard will give you a #1 rank, a rating of 1 if you publish a research paper and you publish it on something that you care about. Okay, tier one, first activity, independent research with publication, because they can look up the paper, they can see if you've done well, they can read the quality of the paper. Second, building an app that has a lot of users. Now here I said 1,000 users, but it's not, I think I confused the zeros. It has to have at least 10,000 users, okay? A lot of users, an app, a solution to an important problem with a lot of users. That's also very good. That's number 2. Number 3, founded an organization with documented impact. 200 plus person conference. You're a regular saying that with 200 plus people. Fundraising with receipts, beneficiaries named. You've partnered with Coca-Cola, you've partnered with KFC, you partnered with like major organizations like UNDP, United Nations Development Program, UNICEF. A lot of my students, who got into top universities, they have done something related to the UN. They either worked with the UN or they were a part of some UN organization, be UNICEF, you know, UNICEF, UNDP, or some other organization. So UN is a cool organization. If you can get an internship or if you can do something with the UN, try to do it. That's number 3. Number 4, we have international competition with verifiable rank. International Math Olympiad, International Physics Olympiad, International Biology Olympiad, International Olympiad in Informatics. Now, obviously, right now you cannot win International Math Olympiad, but what you can do is you can tell your siblings who are like in 6th grade or 4th grade to, hey, if you want to get in, do International Math Olympiad, right? You can tell them, you can guide them. That's why I'm telling this. So even if you don't have it, like try to guide your siblings, your younger sister, your younger brothers, so that they win it, so that you don't have a trauma. Okay. I don't have siblings, so I can't tell, but you can. Published writing with verifiable audience. If you're running like Substack and you have a lot of viewers, a lot of like people who read long term and people trust you, that's also very visible. So visible things are good. And another tip is, I already told it, if you're running a passion project and you're running an organization, run Instagram and LinkedIn. You need to have at least 500 followers on LinkedIn and try to have at least 1,000 followers on Instagram. Don't have like 16 or 384 followers. Run paid ads. I'm not saying do nakrutka, but have more people on your social media. Okay, that's important. Admissions officers do check your Instagram page, not personal, but the sort of projects social media. They do check it. Have more people. Having more people means what you're doing matters more to people. Now we have tier 2 activities. That's also very good. Now a lot of people, statistically speaking, 60% of applicants who apply to Harvard don't have any tier 1 activity. So you can get in even if you don't have a tier 1 activity, but try to have tier 1. If not, tier 2 is also good. Now, what is a tier 2 activity? Internship is a real deliverable. You've done an internship at an existing good established organization and you have brought some impact. It doesn't have to be very significant, but some impact that your supervisor can attest to, can validate. Next, we have leadership that grew something measurably. You have a lot of sort of members, but it's a regional thing. Or if it's national, but you have not collaborated with any existing large organization. Next, you can also do an AI project applied to a real domain. So if you apply, machine learning to a specific domain to solve some specific problem, and you propose that solution to an existing NGO or some other organization, and they accept it, they use it, that's very good. Okay. So trust, credibility is as important as having the project. EGMO. Yep, it's good. It's good. Next, there are oversaturated activities. Now, again, I will go back to the problem. Try to have tier 1 and tier 2 activities mostly. Focus on tier 1 and tier 2. If you're doing something else like a regional club, but you're not a leader and you will not become a leader because there is a leader who is not planning to step down, right? Don't do it. Start something on your own. But if you can see that you can go up as a lead, if you can go up and become a leader, you can stay and grow. But if not, just start something on your own and become a leader. Okay. So only tier 1 and tier 2 activities. By having 7 tier 3 activities, you will not get in. Focus on tier 1 and tier 2. Say no to tier 3 until you develop your existing important activities to tier 2. Okay? Focus, focus, focus. Say no to others. Say no to others. Now, how about we do this? In order to make sure that you guys don't forget, write in the comments, say no to tier 3 activity. Write in the comments, say no to tier 3 activity. Say no to tier 3 activity so you guys don't forget. Madina, I will kick you out from the Zoom if you will send it again. Say no to tier 3 activity. Write in the comments. I want you guys to remember, say no to mediocrity, say no to average things, say no to average universities, say no to average people. Now, you help average people, help normal people, but say no to becoming one. You have so much potential and you have to realize it. If you don't realize it, you will just be wasted. Okay, don't be wasted. Realize your potential. Say no to tier 3 activity. Okay, just so you don't forget, tier 3 is a local, regional school level distinction. You have coherent story, but it's not a large organization, or it's not a very deep niche project that solves some particular important problem. So say no to tier 3 activity. Okay, next. Oversaturate or something that doesn't help. Paid summer programs. If you're paying for a program, like if it's like, for example, even Pioneer, if you pay $7,000 for it, admissions officer can sense that you just paid for it. If you got scholarship for it, amazing, go ahead. If not, if you're paying like $500 and you got like 95% scholarship, amazing. So make sure to sort of know about it, okay? Do not pay to do research. Do not pay to do an internship. Next, just a regular club member, just a regular club president, it's not enough. Founded a non-profit, but there is no document activity, meaning there's no social media. Try to have social media. Show that you have it, okay? People should be able to trust, to see visually what you're doing. Next, we have activities, writing activities on the Common App. 150 characters. How to describe your activities. Now, again, how you describe and how you present your activities is perhaps even more important than what you actually do in real life. So there's a particular way, the best method that you can describe in order to stand out. But before we move on, I would like to, again, very briefly talk about the Portfolio Booster Program so that, those who didn't see it can see. So I have built a Portfolio Booster Program, basically portfolio building program, where we teach you how to start a passion project, brainstorm ideas for it, scale it to a national level, and then pitch existing large organizations like Coca-Cola, KFC, or Slash and other organizations, so they give you money or something else that can give you credibility when you're applying. Imagine you're applying to Harvard and you're saying, I have built this project and I have collaborated with Pepsi, with Coca-Cola, and they've given me this much money, or Coca-Cola's was worth this much value. That's going to stand out. How many high school students do you know who are collaborating with Pepsi, with Coca-Cola? Right? They can drink it, but collaborating is a different level. You want to be at a different level. So that's what we teach. We teach you how to pitch, how to brainstorm, how to persuade others. Our students have got into Amherst College, Harvard University, NYU Abu Dhabi, Carnegie Mellon University, and other top universities of the world. So the way it's going to run is, first, we start from identifying what your story is. We find your spike. And spike is, again, something you're exceptionally good at. Second, we get you to build. You don't have to wait for 2 months. You don't have to research for 2 months to build the basic product or to build the basic sort of organization. You can start from 2 people. It's enough for the start. But then you have to see if people are interested. And that's called validation. We teach you how to get your idea to be validated, and then to scale. Once you have the idea and people are interested in it, and you can make the product really good, we teach you how to scale your product or your organization. We teach you how to do marketing, how to get people to be interested in what you're doing, to come to your offline events, to join your online webinars, online things. How many people do we have? We have 90 people saying, right? How many people in general do you think can get 90 people to watch something online? It's hard. It's not as easy. I have 80,000 plus followers, and I'm going to teach you how to market yourself, how to market your personal brand and the brand of your project on social media. That's also a part of it. And also grow your organization. And last, I'm going to teach you how to persuade others, how to persuade companies, corporations, leaders, so that they trust you, how to establish rapport, what to do so that they trust what you're doing and believe in your vision. Again, results: Harvard, Columbia, Amherst, NYU, Abu Dhabi, University of Chicago. NTU. This university is ranked number 12 in the world. It's one of the best Asian universities, one of the world's best universities. HKU, number 11. KAIST, Carnegie Mellon, Georgetown, Qatar, NUS, SNU, London School of Economics, University of Toronto, University of British Columbia. Name any developed country in the world, and our students have got into one of them. As for the prices, again, you can pay them in 2 installments, meaning the minimum plan, the knowledge plan, costs $599, and you can pay it in two installments of $299. Again, only $299. That's pretty cheap compared to how much you learn. You're not just learning how to build, but you're also, building something to get hundreds and thousands of dollars in scholarship, and you're developing some important life skills, right? How to pitch, how to market, how to make a speech, how to get people to trust you. There's so much that's happening, and you only pay $299 for 2 months. The program runs for 2 months again. The minimum plan is for only group lessons. So the groups are limited to 20 people. But the plan that I would recommend is the coaching plan. This is a classic plan that costs $749. Again, that's a price for the whole program. For 2 months program, you can pay it in 2 installments. And it includes group sessions plus 8. Each week, you are going to have 30-minute individual coaching sessions where we or some other mentor will check your audit, we'll check your profile, what your academic interests are, and we will find the best research programs that you can apply to, the professors that you can reach out to so that you can become their research assistant. Last year, one of my students had become a research assistant of the former Harvard PhD student, Batar Qabilov, who is now an economics assistant professor at UT Austin, and another student was a research assistant of Yale professor and Harvard PhD student. So these are some amazing things that you too also can become if you join this program. And last, in the coaching, we also teach you how to frame your activities. Again, I'm going to teach you today as well, but this is going to be on an individual level. The mentor is going to sit down with you and he's going to describe you how he or she personally has described your activities or his activities and how you can best describe them. This is for the coaching. And last, we have the commitment, the full guarantee, meaning if you don't get the research assistantship or a research program acceptance, we will fully refund your money. We'll basically keep applying until you get an acceptance. We are completely confident that you will get accepted. I'm not talking about like random research programs. We're only talking about like legit, prestigious research programs that universities will trust. And if you don't get an acceptance at all, we'll fully guarantee your money. I'm very confident. I can guarantee the result. And this is full application package review. So we'll review your entire application, your entire extracurricular activity application. And that costs $1,199, which you can also pay in 2 installments. As for the installments, the first installment you pay in advance before joining the program, and the second installment you make it 1 month after the program begins. So we do not currently allow the installments of 3. So 2 is the limit. And yeah, the activities that you do inside this portfolio booster program will be applicable to the United States universities, Ivy Leagues, liberal arts colleges, Middle East, Canada, Hong Kong. Basically, you'll be able to apply to any university and be confident that what you have done stands out. Because research, how many high school students do research at an elite level? Very few. So you will definitely stand out. Advisor in multiple startups. Getting an investment is good. Being an advisor is not. Like you're 18, like working as an advisor. Like what sort of past experience do you have? Have you worked in it? Like if you have like 5 years of experience and now you're an advisor, it's good. But if you suddenly became an advisor, then it's not going to stand out. Okay. As for the requirements, the minimum requirement is the knowledge to 6.5 plus IELTS. You have to speak English. As for the SAT, as for research or other background, we do not require it because simply this is only about extracurricular activities and academic part. So if you want to transform yourself, if you want to learn how to debate, if you want to learn how to persuade people, if you want to learn how to inspire people so that they join your organization, your vision of the future, then you may join this program. Again, that's only about the program. As for the prices, again, I'm repeating, $299 per month for 2 months, the minimum plan. $749 for 2 months again for the coaching. This is something that I would recommend. And number three, we have the commitment. That is a guaranteed program. If you don't get a research assistantship or research program acceptance, we will fully refund your money or keep applying until the deadlines. So yeah, by the way, as I have already mentioned, there is a PDF brochure that I have designed that is essentially uh, that essentially gives you the information about the spike. So today we've covered a lot of information, right? Beck's extracurriculars. There's so much we covered, but I have also designed a different PDF brochure that only talks about the spike. That gives like in-depth information. What is a spike? Why is it important? Why is it important? What specifically do you have to know about it? And a lot of other information. So if you want to join this program, the portfolio building program, and also you want to get the PDF brochure, you can sign up. Even if you don't want to join, you can still fill out the form and then get the PDF. Like you don't have to join the program, or you don't have to be wanting to join the program to qualify to get the PDF brochure. So you can fill out the form right now, and then we'll move back to the most important part of today's lesson, describing the activities. In 1 minute, we'll start the chapter on describing the extracurricular activities. Meanwhile, you may fill out the survey and get the access to PDF brochure. Have you guys filled out? All right, how many people have filled out? We have 75 people who filled out. Once we have 5 more people, we will start. Meanwhile, let me turn on the screen. Wait. Okay, 2 more people. Let me turn on the slides. Before we start the last chapter, how to describe activities on the Common App, I would like to get a very brief feedback from you guys. Do you guys enjoy the lesson so far? Have you guys learned a lot? Can you Can you tell about this slightly on Telegram? So I have sent a post on Telegram. Can you please go there and write your opinion? Like, I'm not encouraging you to say something positive or anything. If you don't like it, you can say you don't. But if you do like it, and if you did learn a lot, I would be honored to learn about your perspective, about how you feel about today's lesson so far. But again, the most important part of the lesson is starting right now. How to describe your activities. It's the most important part. Describing your activities is as or more important as having those activities. So stay up. Now, once the lesson is over, I'm going to ask you one thing. What is the most important insight that you have learned about the activities? Now, I will not ask it right now. I will ask it once the lesson is over on the channel. And I want you guys to write your opinion so that you guys keep in mind what the insight is. I know what I have taught, right? But you guys may forget the most important insights. So just because you learned so much today, you learned so much important information today, you may forget. So write at least one important insight in comments once the lesson is over, okay? All right. How many people we have? All right, we have 17 spots or 18. We will start in a second. All right, let's start. Are you guys ready for the last chapter of today's lesson? Are you ready? Write yes in the comments. Yeah, it's a very long lesson, but it's an important one, and it may as well be life-changing and transformative one. So let's just finish it on a high end. Let's not lose energy, okay? Let's stay up. Okay, awesome. I'm asking one more time. Are you guys ready? This lesson, you will have to use this lesson in December. Guys, it's March. We have 9 months. So if you don't pay attention, if you don't take notes, you will completely forget what you learned today. So make sure to take notes, make sure to remember every part of this last chapter. It's super important. We may also use it in doing curriculum vitae in your resume. When you do a CV, when you're applying to research programs or internships, you can use what you have learned today, specifically in this chapter. So let's start. Let's go. Number one rule, lead with a strong action word. Now, I have collected basically the most important words and I have categorized them into strongest, good, and avoid. What are they? Take notes. Taking a screenshot is not good. It's not a good idea, guys. Why? Because you will forget. You will forget. I promise you will forget. So again, if you take notes like physically, you will keep in mind. So try to write physical notes, like with a piece of pen or pencil. So what are the words that you should avoid? Participated, guys. You're applying to Ivy League. You're applying to HKUST. You're applying to NUS. You're applying to Tsinghua. We don't need We don't need people who just participate. They want winners. They want people who lead projects, who get things done, who fail, who start again, who stand up again and fail again and then start again and build something lasting and important. So don't just participate, start something, lead it. Don't just help, don't just assist, don't just attend existing things that other people are doing. Don't just join existing initiatives and just saying that you're somehow cool. That was my case. I used to join everything. Book club, volunteering, MU1, TEDx, what other event is happening, I would ask, and I would simply go there. Now that made me spectacularly popular in Tashkent among my circle. But do you want to be famous or do you want to have an acceptance, right? I like if I could go back in my first year, I would forget about like knowing people and I would only focus on getting an acceptance. I would focus on building something lasting. So don't participate, don't attend, don't join. Say no to them. Now, there are also some good things. Now, I'm not saying these are the best, but it's way better to use them um than saying participated. What are those words? Led, managed, organized, taught, authored, researched, initiated, mentored. Now, a lot of people tend to believe that these are amazing words, but they're not the strongest. If you want to stand out, have to use the different words. What are they? But before that, again, good words and avoid the words that you should avoid. Good words: led, managed, organized, taught, authored, researched, initiated, mentored. Now there are amazing words: founded, built, launched, published, conducted, deployed, pioneered, directed. Now, these are the strongest words. Now, there are versions that are even stronger, but I teach them only inside the paid programs. I cannot teach them, right? Right? My students have to have some sort of advantage, right? I cannot obviously teach everything. Now, if I'm teaching this in the free program, you can only imagine how good are the paid programs. Okay, so action. That was number one. If you want to take a screenshot or if you want to take notes, I'll again show it once more. Are you guys done? If you guys are done, say yes, and then I'll move on. So avoid participation, do more of, not more, but like start one thing, build one thing, but make it spectacularly successful. Next, number two, action, context, result. Now that's a very sophisticated thing that I'm completely sure you would not be able to learn otherwise if you didn't, join this lesson. Three questions. In your activities, try to respond to these three questions. What did you do? That's the first thing. What action have you done? Second, what context prompted that action? And three, what was the result that you have achieved? Three questions. What did you do? In what context? With what measurable result? Again, measurable result. That means the result has to be in numbers. You can't say it was the biggest. Show me in the numbers. The biggest can be said by the recommenders. You have to talk in numbers, okay? Before internship, for example, you know, research internship, right? There's one way you would probably do it this way if you finished an internship. Now, it's an amazing description, but it could be spectacular. It could be a tier one. Now, this is tier two. It's still amazing. It can get you accepted, but if you want to get accepted, you have to do it the different way. Now, let's consider the first case. First, completed software engineering internship at Lattice Automation, focusing on code and optimization, and won Regeneron Young Scientist Award. Now, look at the description. Is it good? Of course it's good. Is it strong? Of course it's strong. Now, but try to remove the description. Try to remove the description and only focus on this part. Won the Regeneron Young Scientist Award. That's spectacular. That's some outstanding achievement. But just because the description is terrible here, like he's not showing off the full scale. He's not realizing the full potential. You guys have so much potential, but just because you can't describe your activities, just because you not have some teacher who's teaching you how to do it, you're not doing it well. You're not realizing your full potential, even though you have it. Now, after conducted novel, again, novel, that shows innovation, something new. Other people have not done it. Conducted novel bioengineering research. Won top award $50,000 at Regeneron ISEF. License tool to lattice automation. Now, license tool means I have built a tool and I won an award for it. And it was accepted by a leading, organization, lattice automation. And authored the first paper. How many things am I accomplishing here? Novelty. First, tick boxing, right? There's checkbox, checked. $50,000. Oh, strong guy, exceptional guy. Regional ISO. I don't know what that is. So what I do is I Google it, right? That's something admissions officer would do. Regional, sounds fancy, cool, amazing. Tier one, let's go, right? Tier one, license tool. Now that's already a separate thing. Do you see? Number one, tier one. This is probably tier two. This is tier one. This is tier one. One activity, right? This is tier two, tier one. Again, tier one license tool to let's automation. Probably if there was some number, it could go even better. But even in this case, it's at least tier two. Authored first paper. This is again tier two. Here it's one activity. Intern generation two, right? Two. Here you're showing more potential. You're having 4 activities here. It's the same thing and it makes sense, but you're getting more scores. So do you see how with the better description you can stand out, right? Now let's consider another case. Before, youngest ever appointed to Willowbrook City Council Creative Communities founding panel. Participated in funding arts program. Now, like who cares? Like youngest, that's it. Are you going to tell me what sort of organization this is? Like it's not. It's cool, but it could be better. Like you have this impression inside, insecurity. It's a good thing, but if he thought through it slightly more, he could stand out even more. Participated in funding art programs. Participation, come on. I participated in FIFA World Cup 2022. Wait, let me try again. I have participated in I have participated in Football World Cup 2022. Do you know how I participated? I watched the games. Okay. What's the difference between watching a game and watching a game from the stadium? So if you're saying I have participated, you're saying I watched. Okay. Show that you were a player, show that you were a coach, show that you were the fucking organizer, right? Why are you saying you're a participant when you have so much else that you could say? Now let's move on to seeing the version that is more realized. Youngest ever appointed. Tık. Точка. Oh, right? Here, youngest ever appointed to. Like if you put this specific mark, like if you remove, it would still make sense. Like if you put like a comma, it would still make sense. But by doing this, you're making the person stop. Like he will not obviously say, "Oh, it's impressive," but he'll say, right? This reaction is important. But if you remove this and you put comma, it's already like I'll skip the word, right? Because there is like точка запятая, it's standing out slightly more. It's giving a better sort of feeling. So feelings slightly matter as well. Okay, awarded 465 to arts groups. Arts groups. See? Now, here he's saying participate in funding art programs. Here he's saying awarded to 200 plus arts groups. Now, was he the guy who personally awarded it? No, but he was in the decision-making team. And that's enough to say that he awarded $465,000. You see, it's the same thing, but just by giving this slightly different, still correct perspective, it's a completely different reality, even though it's still both cases are true. Now, again, he participated. He was a team sort of decision maker, but here he's saying participate, and here he's saying awarded. Who cares, right? It's still right, and you have to use the full potential. Bi-yearly meetings reviewing while broke cultural policy. Now, this part I could probably add some sort of leadership position, but again, bi-yearly cultural policy. Yeah, this part I would probably change slightly more, but in isolation, this is already like tier one. Is it tier one? Guys, is it tier one? Can you write in the comments? Is it tier one or no? No, right? But look, he was just in a team that decided that this money should be allocated. It's not his money. It's not, he doesn't have some vesting important responsibility, but he's just in the right room with the right people. And the number is spectacularly large for like 17-year-old. Now, is this one a tier one activity, even though it's the same activity? Yes or no? Is this activity a tier one activity? Others? Others? Only 3 people saying it's a tier one activity? Yes, it's a tier one activity. And guys, it's the same activity. In reality, they are both the same. But this guy started filling out Common App one day before the deadline, and this guy he took some time. He consulted with people. He consulted with people who are experienced. He got their advice, and he learned that he has to include numbers. And when he thought about what numbers he can include, he realized that there's a large number sitting that he did not use here, and here he used it. And then he got into a top university, his dream school, right? You see, you already have what it takes. You just have to realize it. You have the energy, you have the potential, you have the support. Just realize your potential. Okay, rule. The rule is always include at least one number. Numbers matter, guys. This is numbers game. Scale. How many users do you have? How many readers do you have? How many people attended? Impact. What sort of price reduction did you have? How many funds have you raised? Growth. Perhaps in year one you had a very small number of people, but in year three you have a spectacularly large. So don't just focus on the year three. Don't just say I have 200 people. If you had 5 people in the first year, show that you've grown like 2000%. Growth matters. Okay. Scale, impact, growth. I want you guys to write in the comments scale, impact, growth. Scale, impact, growth. Scale, impact, growth, so that you don't forget. Scale, impact, growth. Always include a number. Scale, impact, growth. 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 Okay, amazing. Now, a lot of people forget about that, but order matters. Okay, you have to start well. Like if you switch it, if you say I started from 5 members, guess what? I don't care about an activity that has 5 people in it. I don't care, right? So you cannot start from growth because growth is always smaller at the beginning. You have to start from the scale. You have to start from like I have 7,000 users, and then gradually move into impact and then growth. So don't start from a small thing because the person will just literally skip to the next activity thinking that it's a small one. So order matters. By the way, not just order on the like horizontal or vertical part, but also on the other part. The spike activities, the activities that you think should get 1 or 2 ranking in Harvard admissions, for example, you need to put them on top. Okay, almost no one like people. Generally speaking, people don't have more than 2 activities that get 1 or 2 scoring. So put those 2 activities, one activity on top, and then put second. So okay, don't put the best activity that you have like on the last part, thinking that he will remember it more. No, put the best activity in the first one, put the second best activity in the second one, and the rest you can arrange the way you want. So order matters. Okay. Next, Expert perspectives. Now, a lot of the resources that I have used today are not really the things that I have come up. I have researched extensively, and I would like to give due credit to those who I learned a lot from. So, first one is John Morganelli, and his core concept is deliverables, tangible, verifiable evidence of academic interest. So, Morganelli, this is Morganelli method. Okay. Next, we have admittedly Thomas Khalil. If you have seen him on social media, his recommendations are also legit, and I recommend following him. So I would like to give due credit to them. Okay, now last, for those who joined pretty late, I would like to again very briefly talk about the Portfolio Booster program. If you're struggling with activities and you don't feel like you can do a spike, an activity that gets 1 or 2 in Harvard admissions rankings, if you are not sure about it, I recommend you join Portfolio Booster program. Our students have got into Amherst College, Harvard University, Columbia University, University of Chicago, NYU Abu Dhabi, Carnegie Mellon University, and we teach what we taught them to you inside this program. This program only focuses on activities, on specifically doing internship, research, passion project. We teach you how to brainstorm your activity and then to validate it and then to scale it to a national or even international level through marketing, through persuasion, through giving magnetic energy, and through attracting people to join your team. Not just random people, regular people, but the best people. Okay, I don't know if you've seen me, but when I do different projects or events or gatherings, the people who come are really, really very strong people. Like last time we played football, we had Islamik Sindarov, the smaller brother of Jawahar Sindarov. In the previous one, we had Nodirbek Sotorov. And I have some crazy people coming to the events that I personally organize with my friends. So and I will teach you how to do that. I will teach you how to network, how to run your LinkedIn, how to run your social media. And on Instagram, as you know, I have like 50,000 people. And on social media, across social media, I have 80,000 plus followers. And I'm going to teach you how you can market yourself and your project so that you stand out in admissions. And last, we teach you how to pitch. You have to make sure that your ideas count. And you should not wait for others to come to you and ask what your idea is. People never come to you asking for what you think. You have to go to them, say, hey, I found out that you have this particular problem and I have a solution for it. And they will be like, what? Tell me the solution. And you propose the solution. And if they like the solution, you give them basically an MVP. You give them a free demo, free version. If it actually solves, if they like the product, if they like you, they pay for it or they give you sponsorship. Okay. So this is the strategy. It's a 2 months program. And here are the prices. Before the price again, results: Harvard, Columbia, Amherst, NYU, Abu Dhabi, U Chicago, and to these are elite universities, guys. Elite, very hard to get in. And the transformation is, again, like if you compare the price to what you get, it's insane. Persuasion alone, it can cost like $100, right? How to speak. I personally took a mentorship program for how to speak. That cost $1,000. Did you guys ever see me stutter? Like saying, like I never do that. I almost never do that because I took a paid mentorship program and that's where they taught me. And I'm going to teach you that inside this program. So even that speaking lesson alone already costs more than what you pay for in the specific minimal plan. So that costs $599, and you may pay it in 2 installments of $299. That includes 2 months of group lessons, 18 modules. That runs 8 weeks. We also have rapid validation framework. So we teach you how to get your idea to be validated so that you don't just think about it, but you actually go out there and talk to people, see if what you're saying matters to them. Teach you how to pitch, how to build AI agents, how to run social media. And we also give you a summer execution plan so that when you finish the program, you're sure that you can run a passion project and you can scale it on your own, even without our guidance. Okay, this is for the group lessons. The groups will be limited to 20. Second, we also have the coaching plan, which I would recommend. It costs $749. It includes everything in the minimal plan and 8 individual 30-minute consultations. During these consultations, we make an audit of your profile. We try to understand what your academic and life aspirations are and give you personalized recommendations. Next, we also give you we also teach you and we also help you write cold emails to professors on LinkedIn and on email so that you get a research assistantship position. Last year, one of our students got an internship from former Harvard PhD, Bator Kabilev, and Yale, Yale professor. So that's something extraordinary, right? When you're applying, that's a tier one activity when you're mentored or you're an research assistant of a Harvard PhD or a Yale professor. That's really hard because they literally filter students, right? So that's something that we also teach as part of this program, as part of this plan specifically, the coaching. And again, you can pay it in 2 installments. The program runs in total 2 months and it will end after 2 months. As for the installments, you pay the first one before joining the program and the second one after one month after the program runs. And last, we also have the guaranteed program that costs $1,199. It includes everything in coaching, meaning all group lessons plus individual consultations, but we have extended coaching so that we keep applying to research programs until you get accepted, meaning we guarantee. And if you don't get accepted to any research program until the deadlines, we will fully refund your money. We're so sure that we will fully refund your money. We have extensive experience and we'll make sure that you will get what you need to make sure that you have tier one or tier two activities when you apply. So that's it. But again, this is not just for admissions. You get life skills, and you will not be able to get these life skills in other parts. Can you watch YouTube? Yes, you can watch YouTube, but mentorship, like how you speak and you get feedback for it, how you pitch, how you persuade other people, and you get feedback for it. That's something that's hard to get elsewhere. Does anyone ever teach you how to pitch and how to persuade people at your school? Probably no. That doesn't happen. And the government pays like $3,000 for your school, or you pay personally for a private school $500, right? And they don't teach you. They don't teach you these things because they know if you learn how to do these things, you will understand that you don't really need your high school. That you're way better off just getting a mentor who can teach you these important skills, and then you can go to a top university where you can network with the smartest and the best people, who will be ruling, who will be leading the country and the earth. So that's about the program. And that marks pretty much the end of today's lesson. Thank you everyone for joining. On the channel, I will send a question. What was the most important insight that you learned in today's lesson? And I would like to get your response. So make sure to write your response. Again, I know what I taught, but for you guys to remember what you learned, what the most important thing was, you need to write it. Okay. So I just want you to succeed. And regardless of whether you join the program or you not join, I wish you good luck in your application. Keep your energy high. Good luck. Thank you guys for joining. Goodbye. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you, Abrarbek. Thank you, everyone else. Goodbye.